to grow, and because we sort of gave into it so much and the system got abused, it's come to a point, Corey, that we cannot expect mortgages to just randomly appear, because the treatment that landlords gave their, the people that were living there, and how that developed led to, that's one of the main reasons I think we're in a housing crisis, and we've had this big market crash, And I don't know if you've got an article on it.
I had an article on landlords getting caught on camera demanding sex in return for free rent.
That is news to me. That is news to me. You said it earlier, and I was surprised.
Yeah, it says here that 2 sex for rent landlords were caught on camera demanding sex from prospective female tenants in return for free bills and Wi-Fi.
Wow.
They were exposed on the undercover sting by a BBC journalist after they posted an advert on Craigslist seeking sexual favours in exchange for free place to live. The men, both from Bristol, offered to waiver the rent, cover the bills, and even expenses if they could sleep with a girl half their age about once a week.
Wow. I don't know if I should humour this. I do not know if I should humour this. I feel the desperation.
My opinion means nothing, man.
Yeah, literally it means all my days. Trust me.
There's this video here.
Do you know what? When I see that, why is it that a part of me thinks I completely understand that? I can see why this is happening. Yeah. It's absolute disgust, but you are making it so difficult for us to pay our money that at one point we start doing this.
Yeah.
It's a form of entrapment.
It's kind of, this is the lengths that people would go to just have a place to live.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, these are just two landlords that have been caught. I'm pretty sure there's plenty
so
of them out there that are just doing this.
So many.
There's
even properties that are being left empty, like rich people are buying it and then they're sort of just leaving it empty, and they allow people to live there, and on the basis that basically women do get abused in those places, but they can't say anything.
Yeah.
That scares me. That really does scare me, and I'm not surprised, because at one point it just sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
And you have to just sort of brush past it and say, okay, this is basically the lifestyle that we have right now.
Yeah.
Where these things are appearing on news, and we are supposed to say it's appropriate or it's okay to say okay to this, and it's not.
It's not. But
it's not at all.
But a lot of the time it feels like the news is kind of catching up with us,
Yeah.
Like they're posting
That's
shit,
it,
and
yeah.
I'm reading articles. I'm like, well, no shit. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Like Brexit is the most controversial bullshit thing that is maybe not gonna possibly. I read this article about how it might happen in November this year.
I want to say that, but she's asked for more time, and she's refused more time.
But basically, I was reading that the EU is basically, because I was on another episode, I was reading the process of what everything's going to go through for the EU, and basically they're meant to have their first attempt to negotiate this possible deal in November, and the EU want to get this settled, done and dusted from November. They want no problems in it, but May's obviously saying we need more time.
Yeah.
So there's going to be one in November, then there's another one in January, and then they're going to have a summit, and then this and that, bare summits, and then summit for a summit. And
do you know what I'm thinking? Corey, at one point, right? This bitch is never going to give up. At one point, right? Isn't EU going to make a decision? Isn't EU going to make a decision to say, do you know what? Cut the crap. And they're going to probably sit down in the back room, and they're going to be like, okay, this is really not working out, and I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. No. And I think we need to start basically making terms, have more meetings in the background, and start thinking about how we can still be part of the EU but not be part of the EU. Do you see what I mean?
That's exactly what the Miss May wants to do, man.
Yeah.
But you can't do that shit, man.
And then what will she say? Well, this is what the country wanted. And I will say, well, do you know what? I'll be like, my opinion clearly doesn't mean anything
You know?
to you, because that's why a lot of people didn't vote. Like, whose freaking votes are you counting this shit on, man? Like, we didn't even sign up for this, you know. Those who really didn't wanna, and they were not well informed.
Yeah.
Like, she bloody clearly wasn't well informed.
No, literally, this is how Brexit came about.
Yeah.
One day, we were watching the news.
I can see where this might be going, yeah.
Literally, it was this is it. It was one day we were watching the news. Suddenly, they were talking about Brexit. Everyone was like, "What's Brexit?"
What's Brexit?
But no, they never gave us no information
Yeah.
about what Brexit was. They were just like Brexit. Like it was like whispers, like Brexit.
That's it.
And it was
And,
just-
oh my god.
and then,
Oh my god,
then
that's so true.
two twos, there's a vote, and you were like, but okay, but what are we actually voting for? Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry.
Like in my head,
This is what the country wants.
yeah, this is what
you know?
in my head I have it believing that they thought like okay, cool, the people are gonna vote for us to remain in,
Yeah.
but because they clearly had no plan, because it's like going into battle, yeah, and having no strategy of what if that plan fails.
Exactly. And they had people like Boris Johnson push it forward to the extent where the minute Brexit happened, he said, "Oh shit," and he basically already had the position foreign secretary ready for him.
And then there was
the slyness.
man like David Cameron, like
Oh my-
clearly he had no idea. He thought we were gonna remain, and he thought what? He was like, what?
I never thought I'd miss him.
Leave?
I never thought.
I have never heard or seen of David Cameron again since that day of Brexit. He just dipped. Theresa May took over, and now
my
Theresa May will champion Brexit. But really, please believe it was David Cameron's champion dream,
man.
and his death of his what was it? Prime ministership.
I swear. I mean, I'm not lying. Yeah, looking at May makes me wanna like say, "Yo, Cameron, man, come back. There must be a clause for this shit." You know, only because he cried. Like, I don't have mercy for no one when they tears, like politicians' tears, yeah. But he cried in his speech because he gave us the information that we needed to know to remain.
Yeah.
You know,
He did.
He did. Like, even when BBC, for example, would not actually air at any point that there was 10,000 people outside protesting for the Remain, and they were not showing any news about Remain on TV.
No, there wasn't.
And the news about, for fuck's sakes, I mean, for the news about Brexit or like exit or whatever the shit it is, you know, that they still haven't defined properly. And it's because they were not going to push that forward. And then we cannot be surprised that we're in this thing which they're still trying to work out what it is because when we voted, we were not well informed, or the people that needed the information that did try their best, and those that weren't informed didn't vote. And then you are now going on the basis of regional votes that came through.
And the vote came through, and they were just like, well, cool, right, all right. So we're leaving, yeah? Right, here's the information.
Here's the information.
We're like, what? What do you mean? Oh shit! Like this could have happened. This could have happened. Oh, you mean we're not sure about it? Like
they checkmated us without telling us what all the moves were on the chess, you know, and they just bombarded us with everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
And now, should we be surprised? We shouldn't be surprised because this is the kind of shit that
it's a backlash.
It's a big backlash. And that's and you know what? That's where I will counter them saying that we are in austerity, because they have done the biggest backlash that we've witnessed in a very long time. And the fact that we were never, no one ever knew that was coming. It just sort of came to it. That's why I said it's sort of like checkmate. And now we have to go through this backlash. And the thing is, we're rebelling.
Yeah.
A lot of places are rebelling, and we're not going to stop, because we know that at some point, I know it might sound bad, but I support the police system, and I support the fact that they should get paid, and I want people to be safe on the roads. And for that reason, the right people basically are coming around, and really strongly coming around and saying, shut the fuck up, man. Like, you fed us enough bullshit that comedians have now made millions and millions of money because of the bullshit that everything's feeding us. And now we're trying to take things seriously, and at some point we are trying to say the law has to be with us. You have to understand that people are the voice. You need to understand that you're calling yourself a democracy. We are not in a fucking democracy. We were always a capitalist country, and in a capitalist country you can't have full democracy, especially if you're the world capital, and that's been taken away. So ask yourself the question of, my opinion matters or my opinion means nothing, because I'm trying to still work out my opinion means, and the more I work it out, the more I'm understanding that enough of this bullshit, man. And if we really don't push our weights up and just continuously make them realize that, for example, for us, through creativity, we are trying to move forward and we're trying to show you a completely different strand to how the world is working today, then you're going to have to listen to us at some point. And you can't freaking run away, man. Like, you can't run away. The worst that will happen now is going to be sort of, I think in foreseeable future we might have military strategies, you know, that might come forth. And that's the thing we need to really make sure doesn't happen.
We've seen it in all the movies.
We've seen it in all the fucking movies, man. I mean, The Handmaid's Tale, man, that really scared the shit out of me, you know. And I was like, there's a Gilead. There's a fucking Gilead. Yeah, and all the women do not have rights, you know? Apart from the rich. And I was like, that's disturbing. Do you know what? These sort of futuristic things don't just come from nowhere.
Yeah.
They're coming from people's imaginations, and in a sense we're being made aware of the possible outcomes that can be out there, you know.
Yeah.
Independent
100%.
film markets and stuff.
But oh my gosh, what time are we on?
Yeah, he's still going.
Okay, cool. So let's how many news articles? We've done like 3.
I think we've done about 3.
Let's do like this comical one at the end.
on.
So Domino's regrets telling customers they'll get 100 years of pizza if they tattoo themselves.
Do you know what? Not gonna lie, yeah, Corey, I'm gonna stop you there. If they could give me Domino's, oh my days,
You know?
Wow.
So basically, Domino's Pizza have done a U-turn on a promotion that they promised free pizza for life to anyone who got a tattoo of their logo.
I would get it, and then after I got all the pizzas, I will remove it, man.
So it says the Russian brand of the fast food company promised those that got the ink would get 100 free pizzas for the next 100 years.
Oh wow! Because they're never going to live that long.
But you know, but it would appear the brand were not expecting so many people to take part as quickly as they did.
Oh my god. They have 500 branches. Are they freaking serious?
So they then changed their promotion to the first 350 people within the day that it goes live.
Wow.
Then get it. So here's some of the tattoos that people got.
Oh wow.
And there's
That was it.
this one.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That just looks like the Dominoes, isn't it?
Dominoes,
like the Dominoes, yeah, the game. Okay. Still, Donatello's the perfect one.
There's another one. This one.
Okay, interesting. Freebie. Oh my god, does it actually say... What does it say? Oh, prisoner freebie. Prisoner of freebie. That took me a while to like just organize in my head.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Prisoner of freebie.
Oh my god, this is... Are these like the winners?
These are some of the people, who got down to...
Oh, wait, that's not Domino's sign, is it? Why is she showing her tattoo?
Oh, she's got 2 legs, isn't it? These are
No,
2.
I thought... Oh, okay, I thought there were 3 legs in total because they look a little bit different.
And this is his 2 and her 2, I guess.
Oh, wow, this is special. Would you?
I mean, for free pizza...
Oh, my God. Let's go through that ink. Oh, my God.
Actually...
But wait, they stopped it to 350.
Yeah. But actually, I would if I wasn't allergic to ink.
Oh, how do you know you're allergic to ink?
Because I went away on holiday to Spain or something. I got a henna tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
And it, I had an allergic reaction to it. It passed up really badly. Then I went to the doctors when I came back to the UK. They skin grafted and everything. They checked. They could see they tested. They could find some of the chemicals that were still in my arm. What they tested, they said that because some of the chemicals that are in henna tattoos are also in real tattoos.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to just have my arm just pass out, I guess.
Yeah.
So if I was to get a real tattoo, it could be much worse. Like I don't know what could happen.
But you know the ink that